everybody, this is Susie from the Yankton Community Library. I don't know about you, but I'm really missing craft night at the library. So I thought it would be fun to do a video just showing you a craft you could do from home with items you already have around the house. So all you're going to need for this project is some kind of t-shirt and a scissor that will cut fabric. And while I do have fabric scissors, this is just one I grabbed from my kitchen drawer. As long as it can cut through about 4 layers of cotton at the same time, you're good. So the way I came up with this is trying to think about things you could do with items around the house. And I also wanted it to be practical, something that you could use. And I know right now with the concern of disinfecting and sanitizing things, like stores aren't letting you take your reusable grocery bags and things like that. And I think we'll probably all be very mindful about keeping things clean long after the pandemic is over. And I thought these little totes are a great way that you can just take your things to the store, or take your bags to the store, put your things in. When you're home, unpack your groceries or library books or whatever it is you have, and then you can toss this whole bag in the washing machine. Wash it on hot, dry it on hot, and it'll disinfect and sanitize. So it's a really great way. You could do that for any kind of tote you need. You could do a gym bag. You could take and throw your gym clothes and your tote bag right in the washer and disinfect everything, and you're good to go. So I also thought this is probably an item a lot of people have extras laying around the house. I'll show you one that I have mostly done in part of our process. It's a shirt from college where my daughter went to school. Every time we went to an event there, they were giving us t-shirts, and you probably have a lot of those kind of things laying around your house too. So you can use adult size shirts, you can use kid size shirts, anything like that. It could be something with a design on it. It could be something that's just a solid t-shirt. So really anything goes for this. And if you want, you can start by drawing your design. We're going to cut out the neck to be the place where you would insert things in your bag. And then we're going to cut the sleeves off. And that's how we're going to make the straps that make the tote bag something you can slip on your shoulder. But I'm kind of one of those people that likes things to be symmetrical. So instead of drawing my pattern, I'm going to take, and this is a long sleeve t-shirt, and it's one I don't wear anymore. At the library, every once in a while we'll buy theme shirts, you know, that talk about reading or libraries or things. And I find that when I get a new one, that's the one I wear all the time, and I don't really wear those old ones. So this is a good use for any of those things. Sports shirts you get for kids' activities and things. So I'm just lining it all up, getting everything nice and smooth. And the thing that you want to remember when you're doing this is that you want to end up with about a 3-inch strap. At the top here at the shoulder where the shoulder seams are, you want to leave 3 inches. So I'm going to start right down here at the armhole, and I'm going to cut in a little bit and cut straight up. So I'm going to set it down to do that, and I'm going to adjust my camera. All right, so I've got my fabric lined up here. I'm going to be careful not to cut my tablecloth. And I'm just going to cut through all 4 layers of fabric here. Start right up here. My shirts are a little bigger, so these armholes are going to cut pretty deep. So keep that in mind. You want to adjust your pattern for the size of shirt. If you're using a kid shirt or a small adult shirt, you might have to start a little bit lower than where the arm pit is, because you want to have enough room for a big strap here. Okay, so I have that cut off. And especially with these long t-shirts, look at all this extra fabric I have. And even with a short sleeve shirt, you end up with quite a bit of sleeve fabric left. And so when you cut that open, look at all that nice cotton you have. I know a lot of people right now are sewing masks or liners for masks, so you can save those sleeves and do a different project with that. So I'll just slide all that over for now. Now we're going to take a look at where we're going to cut the center hole. And this pattern is nice that it starts a little bit lower on the shirt. So I'm going to keep that in mind, and I'm going to go all the way down to that pattern so that this opening to slide things in the tote goes a little lower. So I'm going to keep my about 3 inches here. And again, if you really want to be precise, you can measure it and mark with chalk or a pencil or something. But I'm just going to eyeball it. I'm going to turn it a little so it's easier for me to cut. I'm going to start here. And some of these shirts you get at events and things, they're such nice heavy cotton that they're not going to wear out anytime soon when you use them for a tote bag. Okay, so I have the neck off. And if you get some kind of jaggedy edges like here, it's a little bit jagged. I don't know if you can see that. Don't worry about that, because as you wash it and dry it, this is going to roll up and it's just going to make a nice fun edge, and nobody will ever notice that it was like that. So now we have either a really groovy 80s muscle shirt or the beginnings of a tote bag. So at this point, you're going to want to take it inside out before we do anything else. All right, so shake it out and line everything up again so that the bottom is nice and even. I'm going to put it off to the side here to get it lined up. And lay it flat on the table. And then fold it in half again. Okay? Now, when you're deciding how long to make this, you want to decide how far from the neckline you want to go down, and then add about 3 inches. And I want this to be a nice deep bag, so I'm just going to start right here at the hem, and I'm going to cut that bottom hem off, because we're going to end up tying these. Did I say this was a no-sew project? I should have said that right from the start. This is a no-sew tote bag, so no sewing machines, no needles, nothing required. And if you've ever done one of those polar fleece tie blankets, it's basically the same process. And tying through this stitched hem isn't going to be very fun. So we're just going to cut that off. Now, if you wanted your bag to be shorter, you could cut it off anywhere along here. But I'm just going to go ahead and use this. And I'm going to unfold it. I'm still right side, or inside out, excuse me. And I'm going to cut it now. And I think it's easier to put it right side or inside out before you cut the tabs at the bottom, because they end up staying lined up really nice. So, and again, this part, if you want to mark off every inch, inch and a half, and up so far, up 3 inches, you go right ahead, but I'm pretty content just to eyeball it. And I'm going to make mine a little wider than 1 inch, and I'm just going to go along here. And I think my shirt is stretched out a little bit, so my bottom isn't quite straight across. It dips a little here, but I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to account for that when I cut up for my tabs. And maybe in the center here, cut up a little further. So I'm going to go along, and I'm going to slide it over here. And keep cutting all the way to the end. And you want to pay attention to your end cuts, because I'm going to cut one strip here and one here. But this leaves me with that part that wraps around your side, and so it's extra wide. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut halfway there, and you're leaving it in half should just kind of make your mark here. And then I want to make sure I do that on the other side. Line it up, and then just use the side as a sample. Now, if you had a side seam on your shirt, all you would do is kind of fold it out so that the seams were in the middle. Then you wouldn't have to worry about that. So now I'm going to go along, and I'm going to tie the bottom. And how I found the easiest to do it was to take the bottom slip and the top one, take the bottom over the top, and tie. And then I go to the next set and make sure they're lined up nice on top of each other. And then bottom over top. Line them up, bottom over top. And I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to go along and tie all of these. And you're just going to go all the way to the other side. Now I have one that I've already done that to. This shirt right here. I've already tied along the bottom. And what you might notice is that there's kind of some little holes that things could slide out of here. So all you're going to do, and I've started this on one side, is after you get it tied one time, you're going to go back and just take 2 top ones and tie those over where you see a hole. And don't worry about being really particular about, oh no, this one isn't the very next one and it's not the top one. I'm taking a bottom and a top. It doesn't matter. You're just trying to cover any little holes, any little gaps, so that nothing falls out. I don't really anticipate myself putting things in here, small things, small groceries that could fall out. But if that's what you'd like to use yours for, just make sure you do. So once you get to one side, just turn it over and go back on the bottom looking for, like here's a place where there could be a gap. So I'm just going to do a little tying. And I'm inspecting as I go. There's a place. And it's looking pretty good. And this time you do want to make sure you tie it really tight, because you don't want anything to slip through there. And really, it shouldn't, you're not going to trim these off. They're going to be on the inside of your bag, all these little tabs, but it shouldn't be a problem. Like, see right here, here's a little hole, little gap. So I'm going to take one on one side of the gap and one on the other, one tab on each side, and just tie those together. And now you can't see a hole anymore. So just keep doing that till you feel good about all those holes. And it looks really cute on the bottom. And actually, if you wanted to leave it like that, you sure could. That would be really cute, like on a tie-dye shirt or something like that. And then you're going to take your shirt and make it right side out again. And flip everything around. And there's your tote. You've got your cute little handles, and it's all finished on the bottom. It's all gathered. It's going to stretch nice when you need it to. And you have straps that are nice and deep that you could slide this onto your arms. So thanks for taking some time out of your day to do a project with me. If you think of some tips and tricks to finish this off in a different way, or other ideas of things you can do with your tote bags, please go ahead and add that into the comments below. And I'll be thinking and trying to find something else we can do with things we can find around our house. Have a great day.